Hi everyone, I'm Lilli. I'm a DPhil student in atmospheric physics here at Reuben. But as Lionel said, today I'm going to talk about what I do when I don't do research, which is rowing. I was in the Oxford Women's Bluebird that won the boat race this year, and I thought I'd tell you how we got there. I assume most people have heard about the boat race before. It happens every year. It's where Oxford and Cambridge university boat clubs race each other in London on the Tideway. So the course is 6.8 kilometers long. It takes around 20 minutes to do the boat race, depending on... that's not on the computer, so I don't know how to turn that off. It takes around 20 minutes depending on the wind, the waves, and the tide. And by now, it's one of the oldest and most famous sporting events. The boat race last year was the most watched women's sporting event in the UK. With over 2 million people watching it. It won't let me... right. So before I speak about my small part in this huge tradition, I thought we'd go back to the beginning with a few questions. Does anyone want to guess when we had the first boat race?
Men or women?
Men. We're starting with the first men's boat race. Any guess?
1830.
Ooh, pretty close. 1829. And so knowing that, when do you think we had the first women's boat race?
1985.
A bit earlier, 1927. Not too bad, although it wasn't a side-by-side race. It was a contest of time and style. And then in 1935, we had the first actual race. Although these races were a lot shorter, they were around 2 kilometers. They started in Oxford or Cambridge and then moved to Henley. And so the men from the beginning have been on the Tideway. When do you think the women moved onto the Tideway?
That's my point. 2005?
Somewhere in between 2015. So that was only 11 years ago. When they moved onto the Tideway, Oxford had won 7 out of 8 of the last boat races, and they continued their winning streak for the first 2 Tideway races before a long period of Cambridge win started. And this was when I joined the boat race. I joined Oxford University in 2022, starting my PhD. So I've been involved with the boat race since the 2023 boat race. And so I thought I'd talk about kind of the last few years of hard work that have gone into the result this year, and also give you kind of small insights into the small wins along the way that are maybe hidden behind this binary timeline. But before we get to that, what is it like to row for the university? We train 12 times a week. Half of that is rowing, and then the rest is split between ergs, so on the rowing machine, and weights. If you think that's crazy, so did I. When I started rowing, you kind of get used to it. I think the hardest part is eating enough to fuel you for all the energy you need for this. So women on the program need to eat around 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. For men, it's more 5,000 to 6,000. So you need to eat a lot of food. Squeezing in the training around full-time degrees means that there's tragically a lot of early mornings and evenings and weekends spent rowing. We start every year having an even mix of undergraduates, masters, and PhD students. And we have around 80 athletes on each of the men's and the women's squad, and that kind of becomes less throughout the year, as in the end we have 3 men's and 3 women's aides racing the boat race. So we have the blue boats that you usually see on TV, and then we have the reserve races and the lightweights. And so since I joined, there's kind of been some key changes that really made the win this year possible. And so first we had a new coach start in 2023, and he came with a mission to turn the tide, to enable Oxford to start winning boat races again, and really build a sense of belief and kind of focused on the great team culture above all else. One key change was that I think for the first time ever, the rowing program really learned to work with the academic schedule and not against it. So all of our sessions were moved outside of the 9 to 5, and it really enables people to fully commit to the training year after year, to do it for their entire time at Oxford. And so that way, we run out of power. Okay.
Did your battery run low on that bend or not? How do you keep going? We could do partial questions there. When do you hit the wall when you do the boat race? Is it after the first kilometer? Is it after 3 or 4 kilometers?
I think for me it was 2.6 kilometers in. I saw Hammersmith Bridge, which is kind of quite a famous landmark on the stretch, and then I realized it's still a long way to go.
Any other questions whilst we get the electronics sorted out? Quick question there for...
So I'm nothing like a sports person, so please take this with a grain of salt. How much does it play in your mind when you see these statistics of things like, we haven't won the last 5 boat races, we haven't won the last 6 boat races? Is there an element of, after a certain point, you feel like, well, it doesn't matter if we win or lose because we're just going to get the result we get, or does it become like a mental game as well?
It definitely is a mental game. I think especially the boat race, more than most other rowing races, it's 1v1. And so it's really, you go as fast as you can for as long as you believe that you can win. And then, it's kind of how people describe the boat race. It's a side-by-side race until one of the crews doesn't think they can win anymore. And so I think that's why kind of a big focus by Alan and also everyone that's been involved over the last few years has been to kind of build the belief that you can win despite everything that the results might indicate otherwise.
Okay, back to you after the commercial break.
Okay. We kind of had a momentum building over the last 3 years, which wasn't quite reflected maybe in the kind of very, very binary outcome of the Bluebird race. And so I thought we'd kind of look behind the scenes, maybe the small things that happened along the way that kind of showed us that we were moving in the right direction. And so one thing I wanted to highlight in 2024 is that I won the Osiris race in the boat races that year. So that's the reserve crew, that's the second 8. It's obviously not kind of as exciting for the media, but it just really showed to us that we were moving in the right direction. It was the first win on the Tideway for the Oxford women since 2016 and kind of a huge confidence boost. We do other races like Henley in the summer where we had good results that we were happy with. And then the 2025 boat race comes around and we didn't win, which was obviously super hard. We kind of spent all this time building the belief that we could win the boat race. We'd made kind of huge steps on throughout the year. We started the year. The only other time that year where we raced Cambridge, they were half a minute ahead of us over 4 kilometers, and then we ended up losing the boat race by 8 seconds. So we kind of knew we'd made kind of massive steps on that year, but it wasn't enough. It was super hard kind of to deal with that result, but I think what we did really well is that we used it to come back basically the day after and kind of try to figure out what we could do better. And so this year, we didn't really leave any stone unturned. We had Heidi as our president, who joined Oxford after competing at the Paris Olympics, and she's been absolutely amazing, probably as well as slightly insane. So we did longer rows, we kind of squeezed in extra kilometers whenever we could. We did harder workouts than I think any of us had ever done before. We did more racing, and we started getting some kind of very early good results. We won the head of the chart regatta, racing Cambridge and coming kind of 20 seconds ahead of them, which was obviously amazing. We didn't rest on these early good results. Instead, we kept pushing and we got faster and faster. So, for example, some of the crazy things we did, we had a training camp in January where all you do is row, eat and sleep. And I'm pretty sure that we did more miles than the GB team usually does when they go on training camp. We did sessions where we did up to 12 kilometers of race pieces, which is twice the length of the boat race. And so all of this sounds and kind of felt kind of insane, but it just meant that we found more speed than we ever did before. We practiced every part of the boat race, so we would go down to London on Sundays and do a pretend boat race. We have one of our alumni on the launch pretending to be the umpire, and kind of just really learn what boat races feel like. Our coach would bring down a massive speaker to Wallingford, where we have a very quiet, nice stretch of river where we train, and put on crowd noise that he got from the BBC so that we could practice our boat race starts, kind of learning to ignore all the distractions that we'd get, which was more important for me this year than ever because I had an additional distraction, which is that I actually raced my sister in the boat race. She's a PhD student in Cambridge. And so boat race week was filled, with rowing and training as usual. And then we ended up speaking to a bunch of journalists because everyone got super excited that we were racing each other, which was very fun. And so, I'm super happy I got to do that with her. It also meant that boat race week flew by. We start the day on boat race at Imperial Boathouse, which is where we train out of. And you can kind of slowly start to see the riverbanks fill with people who are coming down to watch. I woke up super nervous, and I think a lot of the women in my crew were nervous as well because we kind of knew that we had done everything we could. We had kind of everything we needed to really go and show what Oxford women can do, and kind of have a race that can put us ahead of Cambridge. But then there's just so much uncontrollable when it comes to the boat race. And so we really built on that, kind of strong team culture. We held each other's hands when anyone got too nervous and kind of got each other through the day. I think I was most nervous sitting on the start line, but then you see the flag drop, you ignore everything else, you kind of turn into a racing machine with the 9 of you. And I think it actually took us a minute because we were so internal to realize that we were moving up on Cambridge, which then massively fuels you for the 20 minutes of pain and agony that are ahead of you, especially in the boat race when you can see the only other person you're racing and you know you're ahead of them. It's a massive boost. And so it meant that we could deal with the pain that was ahead of us. We got through the waves and the terrible wind that was waiting for us in the second half of the race. And this is us winning the boat race. It was absolutely amazing, and it was... Oh. Especially kind of celebrating together on the podium was awesome. What I just wanted to say is that while it's the 9 of us on that podium together, it really is the work that the whole squad has put in over the year, that all the women have put in over the last 10 years. And so we're just super happy that we could make them all proud that day. And so with that, what's next? Rowing. When it comes to rowing, the work is never done. Everyone's already back, hard at work, thinking about next year's boat race, with the goal of winning all of the boat races that Oxford and Cambridge race. And so stay tuned.